Welcome to Chapter 8, Lesson 8. This is a problem-solving investigation. So this is a green problem-solving page. And our strategy is to use logical reasoning. All right, let's read the word problem. Marla used flour, sugar, and brown sugar to make a treat. Use the clues below to find the amount of each ingredient she used. The amounts were 3/4 cup, 1/4 cup, and 2/3 cup. She used more flour than sugar. She used more sugar than brown sugar. Okay, so first thing we need to do is understand. So what facts do you know? Okay, so right away, I'm going to think flour. I'm just going to use the F. So keep writing it. Sugar and brown sugar. So B, an S, and an F. Okay, and let's see. Marla used more blank than blank. More blank than sugar. Okay, so used more flour than sugar. So flour than sugar. Okay, so that's this word. More flour than sugar. Good. And more sugar than brown sugar. Okay? Now, what do you need to find? We need to find the amount of each blank she used. The amount of each ingredient. Ingredient means what you put into a cooking recipe. Okay, so let me just rank these. More flour than sugar. So this is first. More flour than sugar, and more sugar than brown sugar. Or you can do it this way, with the greater than symbols. I like to rank it up and down, kind of like that flower power game. Okay, plan. I can use logical reasoning to solve the problem. Solve. The order of ingredients from greatest to least is flour, sugar, brown sugar. The greatest fraction is 3/4. Okay, how do we know that? So I'm going to use some models. So the first one was 3/4 cup. So 1, 2, 3. And then we had a 1/4 cup. Okay, 1/4 cup. Right? 3/4, 1, 2, 3. 1/4 and 2/3. All right, so we can see this. Let's rank it. Okay, well, this one's obviously not as big. Here we go. 1, 2, 3/4 is clearly bigger than 2/3. And 1/4 here is obviously the smallest. These are benchmark fractions. These are our main fractions. So I now know automatically that 3/4 is bigger than 2/3. Okay, so let's push these up a bit. We're looking for the greatest fraction is 3/4. Yes, we agree. So Marla used, remember, the F was the biggest one. So flour should be 3/4. And the next one's 2/3. So that should go with the sugar. And the next smallest is 1/4. So that should go with the brown sugar. So she used 2/3 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Yes, my answer. Because I used fraction tiles. And you maybe don't have fraction tiles at home, but you have mine that I just showed you. And you can use them in class. Okay, there's another way, remember, to figure out which fractions are bigger. And that's if you don't have fraction tiles, you could use multiplication. Okay, so I'm just going to steal some space right here to do for my multiplication problem. Okay, when we're comparing 3/4 to 1/4, I can already tell that this is bigger because these denominators are equal, so I can compare, and this has more pieces. So this I can tell. I don't need to use multiplication. They already have the same denominator. But what if I'm comparing 2/3 and 3/4 using multiplication? Okay, I'm trying to figure out 3/4 versus 2/3. What can I multiply each of these by to make them have the same denominator? The least common multiple. I'm trying to multiply them together. Okay, 4 times 3 is 12. So if I make this fraction be a denominator of 12, and this fraction have a denominator of 12, I can find my equivalent fractions. So 4 times 3 is 12, but I have to multiply it on the top and the bottom. Same. 3 times 3 is 9. So the equivalent fraction is 9/12. And this one would be times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. To multiply the same on the top and the bottom. So 2 times 4 is 8. So these are the equivalent fractions. And now I can tell which one is bigger. 9 pieces or 8 pieces, okay, when they're the same. So this is bigger, this is greater than. So I can tell using multiplication that 3/4 is my bigger fraction. Okay, so if you don't have tiles, you can always use multiplication. Okay, let's flip it over. Ooh, salsa. Amir is making salsa using tomatoes, onions, and black beans. Use the clues below to find the amount of each ingredient. So right away I see this is the exact same problems. Okay, just different numbers and different ingredients. But there's still 3 tomatoes, onions, black beans, and there's 3 here. And then they give us the clues of which one is bigger. All right, so it's very similar. So what facts do I know? Amir is using more tomatoes. More tomatoes than black beans. So that means tomatoes is bigger than black beans. And more black beans than onions. So it means more black beans than onions. So this is my rank. Greatest to least. Tomatoes, black beans, onions. What do I need to find? Which ingredient matches the fraction. Right, which ingredient matches the fraction? I'm trying to figure out a half cup, 3/4 cup, or a third cup, and which one does it go to? Plan. I will use logic. That means brain power. Okay, let's see our tiles again. So it was 1/2, 1/2, 3/4, and 1/3. Okay, now logically, I can obviously see that this is bigger. This is the second, and this is the third. So the biggest is 3/4, second biggest 1/2, and the smallest 1/3. So T equals 3/4, B, black beans equals 1/2, onions equals 1/3, and what is it? Cup, 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 cup. And we would write a math sentence here. Amir used 3/4 cup tomatoes, comma, 1/2 cup black beans, and 1/3 cup onions for the salsa. Yes, my answer makes sense because I used logic and fraction tiles. Nice. All right, let's see. Salsa. And you know what's good with salsa, even though it's not very good for you, is a bag of fiery Doritos. Have you ever had Doritos? They are so delicious. My mom never let me use junk food very often, but she loved Doritos. Whoa. And so we actually got to eat Doritos. That was one of the chips we got to eat when I was young because she liked it. All right, I'll see you in class.